Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, in the previous video, we have discussed about the topic that is the microbial accumulation of radionuclides. In continuation of that series, today we will be going to discuss about the various mechanisms, that is the interaction between the microorganisms and the radionuclides. So, earlier we have studied about the bioaccumulation and the bioabsorption mechanism. Now we will be going to start with the process of biotransformation. So bioavailability and the concentration of radionuclides can be dramatically altered by bacterial processes. Redox reactions lead to a change in the solubility of the nuclides, that is, they affect this property. pH revises their solubility, so it is necessary for the radionuclides to become soluble, that is, they will be absorbed by the cell membrane or the surface of the bacterial cell wall, okay, so that they will be remediated, or they can be converted into less toxic forms. So thus key chemical processes by the bacterial transformations lead to formation of oxides, okay, ionic, organic or inorganic complexes of radionuclides. So these forms of radionuclides will be formed, which we can say will be less harmful as compared to their original form. Non-absorptive nuclide, that is those that are not absorbed by the bacterial surface, are either transformed enzymatically or non-enzymatical, that is here the use of enzyme will took place. Example is Geobacter sulfuricans, Ducens, Swanella putrefaciens and Geobacter metalli reducens. So these are the bacteria which are usually used for the process of biotransformation. The reduction of the radionuclide is concurrent to energy metabolism, that is, it is related to the energy metabolism of that particular bacteria. It includes the use of a substance as an electron acceptor for the generation of energy, because energy generation is required in this process, so we have to need a electron acceptor. Electron acceptor is reduced, that is by the redox reaction, but not incorporated into an organic matter during the biosynthetic anabolism processes. Then biosolubilization, so it is a result of autotropic metabolisms during which radionuclides are leached out from their solid matrices. So this is another method for transforming, or we can say converting, the radionuclides into more simple form. It is an indirect method of solubilization, as the autotropic bacteria, that is, those bacteria which perform their function, or we can say which prepares their own food, okay, obtain energy from the reduced iron or the sulfur compounds while solubilizing the nuclides and the metals, that is, they feed upon these compounds and then solubilize the nuclides and the heavy metals. It requires acidic pH, moisture and oxygen to oxidize Fe(S) and S, that is sulfur, and release the out metals as the sulfides, that is, the whole process require these we can say factors, and also, and at last we can say these are converted into sulfides, that is, the heavy metals will be converted into sulfides. Such bacteria are mesophilic and acidophilic in nature, okay. Usually a mixture of bacteria and acid along with an inorganic source of energy is added to mines of the metals and radionuclides. So in case of earlier we have studied in case of acid mine drainage, that is, bacteria and acid are utilized for the treatment, and also here this practice is the main principle behind that. acd thiobacillus ferroxidans, acd thiobacillus thioxidans, leptospirillum ferroxidans, sulfolobus are used in this process. So these are the bacteria that is utilized in the process of biosolubilization. Then bioprecipitation. So precipitation results after the successful conversion of a soluble form of a nuclide into its insoluble form, that is, this process happens after the overall process of bioaccumulation, bioabsorption, biotransformation, and at last that is the biosolubilization. So in case of radionuclides, their reduced forms are highly insoluble, okay, resulting in their precipitation. So a only chance is of precipitation in the form of carbonates or hydroxides. So the site of the precipitation on the microbial cell, that is from on where, that is on a microbial cell surface, the precipitation of the heavy metal or the radionuclide took place, it is known as the nucleation site. So this is a diagrammatic representation, that is the direct enzymatic and the indirect enzymatic methods for, we can say, the bioabsorption method. So here bacteria basically use electron that is released during the reduction of the organic compounds, that is the substrate, okay, to convert the oxidized, mobile and the soluble forms of the radionuclides such as uranium, chromium into the reduced and immobile and their respective insoluble forms. Then in case of indirect reduction of the radionuclides, some bacteria, mostly we can say the lithotrophs category, cause the reduction of the substances, that is they cause reduction of the substances, which in turn leads to reduction of the radionuclides. So basically here reduction of the iron took place and it will lead to reduction of the Rn, that is the radionuclide. So these are the three diagrams representing the processes of bioabsorption, biomineralization and bioaccumulation. So here the first, in case of bioabsorption, we can say these are the, we can say this is the bacterial cell wall, that is the cell structure of the bacteria, okay. These are the, we can say, the radionuclides, okay, that got later attached to the surface. Here various, we can say, the functional groups are present, that is OH, NH2, etc. Phosphoryl group is also present. So electrostatic absorption to the anionic groups in the cell wall, that is they got attached here, okay. This is the upper layer, that is known as the cytoplasmic or the outer membrane. This is the periplasm, this is the cytoplasm. Chemical absorption to the ligands in the cell wall, that is these are the ligands that they will absorbed to the cell wall. Then microorganisms of various kind, basically the bacteria, are utilized here in this process. In case of biomineralization, as we can see, glycerol phosphate is utilized, that is energy for growth, it will give the energy for growth, okay. And again ligands are present, these got attached to the phosphate or the phosphoryl group, tethered precipitate within the outer membrane, okay, preventing the falling of the cell surface, that is it will not destroy the cell surface. Nucleation on the cell surface in the polar region, so here nucleation will take place, and phosphatase activity, that is the activity of enzyme phosphatase, will be seen here. Then bioaccumulation, so this process involves the use of electrostatic, or we can say the generation of electrostatic forces. So here a polyphosphate granule will be formed, that is by the interaction with the radionuclide, interaction with negatively charged functional groups within the cell, they will got attached here, okay. And the active uptake of the essential elements will also be there. Then there are some miscellaneous mechanisms also involving the microorganisms and radionuclides. First is chelation. So microbial production of the chelating biopolymers such as pyomelanin, melanin, etc. have shown to modify the mobilization of the radionuclides significantly. Exposure of such melanin to the ionizing radiation has also demonstrated an increase in the growth and the biomass in the fungi, that is the Cryptococcus neoformans and the Cladosporium. So basically chelation products will lead to better growth of the microorganisms. Then complexation, so it results when the organic phosphate groups and the teichoic acid and the radionuclides interact with each other. Speciation and the binding of radionuclides to the fungal cells influences its precipitation capabilities also. Complexing agents here include EDTA, that is ethylene diamine tetraacetate, DTPA, that is diethylene triamine pentaacetic acid, DTPA, okay, oxalate, citrate, humic acid and the bicarbonates, etc. So this is the overall mechanism, or we can say the tabulation form, involving the mechanism, the radionuclide metals that are involved in these processes, and the microbe that is involved. So in the conclusion, we can say exposure to radionuclide is a health as well as an ecotoxicological concern. Microorganisms possess an immense potential for undergoing sustainable manipulation for the biotechnological applications. Radionuclides cannot be destroyed, okay, but can only be transformed. So advantages of using microbes for the bioremediation of waste are many, because of the properties that they possess, that is high specificity, high reusability, high efficiency, complete removal of the pollutant, low exposure expense, and the no pollution, that is no secondary pollution will be there. So yeah, this is all about the microbial accumulation of radionuclides and its, we can say, uses. Hope you will like my video, and if you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel.